joining in for today's podcast. Today's podcast is unbelievable. It's about how we can follow our internal compass. Do you even know what that means? It's like your intuition, but it talks to you and it tells you things. And it tells you if you're on the right track or in the wrong track. And what ends up happening is we don't have it connected yet. Either some of us do have it connected and know how to use it, or some of us don't have it connected yet. She talks about very similar to a modem. And this modem inside of us that we all have is either disconnected by the wire with an Ethernet, or it's connected with the wire. This talk is so beautiful, and just by listening to what she had to say and tips and tricks and how to actually get you internally listening to yourself, this is why this beautiful talk has come about. How do we follow our internal compass? This is why I have this podcast. I really hope you do enjoy it. This is a beautiful podcast by Jennifer Dawn. She is my beautiful guest that's on here today. So let's listen to Jennifer Dawn. I am so excited to have you here, Jennifer. And the reason why is because I am really looking forward to listening to you about our inner voice. So I have here Jennifer Alice with me, who has amazing information to share when it comes to following your intuition or your inner voice. So thank you for being here, Jen, and thank you for allowing yourself to come here and talk on this podcast with me.
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me here, Nish. It's a pleasure being here and an honor being here. So thank you.
Oh my God, you're so welcome. You know, when I heard about your little live show that you had done on Facebook about the motherhood diaries that we had written, and you had talked about your inner voice, and I just sat there thinking, wow, Jen, you brought out a spirit inside of me, a spirit I never knew I had. And every time I listen to that conversation of you talking, I feel like I can hear my inner voice or my inner universal guidance that I have. Everywhere I go, I'll have a little nudge. And sometimes I don't know if it's a nudge or if it's me thinking. I don't know what it is. But this is why I have you here. I want more information. And I guarantee there's so many people out there that need that information as well. So here is the big question for you, Jen. Before we start, I want you to introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what you do, everything you do. And then I'm going to give you this big question to answer.
Okay, sounds good. I can't wait. So hello, everybody. My name is Jennifer, and I'm located in BC, Canada, right now as we speak. So I'm a newly published author. I'm also an intuitive coach as well as a business coach. And I've actually was in management for almost 30 years of my life. And I've also been practicing reading cards for almost the exact same amount of time, which is kind of interesting. And so a couple of years ago, I actually left the management field and I actually work full-time for myself as an intuitive coach. And I actually talk to people all over the world, all different time zones, which is really fun. And I love doing it. So
you honestly bring out a lot of brightness within you when you do talk about it. So I love that about you. And I've learned a lot just by talking to you and little things that I've heard from you. So thank you again from the bottom of my heart for being here. So here's the big question. How do we awaken our inner voice? How do we know that it's our inner voice and it's not our logical mind talking to us? Explain all this to me.
Okay, and that is an awesome question. It's a very good question. And what you just said prior to your question, that means a lot to me, that things that I've shared have helped you and have touched you and impacted you. That means a lot for me to hear that. So thank you. So in regards to your question, so everybody that's listening, just so you know, wherever you are, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what background you have and where you've come from, no matter what your age is, every single person on this planet has been born with what I call an internal compass. So this internal compass actually starts and activates the day that we are born. So what happens is the internal compass, uh, for most people, is almost unknown, untapped. It's an untapped tool and resource. But hopefully, with knowledge and with practice and guidance, people will be able to develop this internal compass. And worldwide, the world would actually be very, very different if people knew how to access their internal compass and used it daily. It actually would be a very different place. So how to actually access your internal compass is the first part, acknowledging that you have it. So because no matter where you are, as I said, no matter who you are, you have it. So a lot of people talk about intuition, and many people have different opinions and beliefs about intuition. So intuition is actually very different from your internal compass. So internal compass is basically, in the land of technology, it's like our internal technology. So it's like a GPS system for our soul. And what happens is it actually helps direct us in life. But to rewind, how to access it, how do we start using it? So the first thing is actually to start daily. So everything takes practice. So any type of skill, anything that you want to develop ability, it takes practice and it takes patience, which, as we know, is one of the things that almost every single person in this planet has to work on, is patience. So what I recommend is every single day, if you set aside at least 10 minutes a day just for yourself, just to have quiet, because mental quiet. Because what happens is we're so busy with life. We have so many things. We have laundry, we have dishes, we have to pick up kids, we have to make dinners. We have all this busyness going on in our mind. No matter who we are, no matter how many children we have, because just so you guys know, I actually have 3 kids myself. So they're not little kids anymore. They're all grown, ranging from 20 to 25 now. But there was once upon a time where I actually had 3 children that were 7, 5, and 18 months old. So I know for a fact how life can be incredibly busy with young children. But it is so important that you take this dedicated time to yourself. And if you have kids, your kids are going to benefit as well. And even if you don't have kids, not only will you benefit, but the people around you will benefit when you take this daily 10 minutes to yourself every single day. So you just, as a practice, daily practice, it will get easier. Wherever you live, just find one spot where you can just dedicate yourself to just having this quiet, no distractions, no cell phone, no technology, no TV, no nothing, and just focus on quieting your mind. What happens is you start actually training your mind to recognizing your internal compass. Because when you first start, your internal compass is a stranger. You don't even know how to talk to this stranger. The stranger knows how to talk to you, but you don't know how to talk to the stranger. So what happens is when you focus on 10 minutes a day, just practicing the quiet time with no distractions, what happens is you actually start learning to recognize the voice that you hear. So there are actually 2 different voices that we hear. And obviously I'm talking in a spiritual sense, not anything else, and not medically. So in regards to a spiritual sense, so there is ego, which is very, very loud. And then there is source based. So your source is actually the director for your internal compass. So it actually is the gauge. It helps you figure out if you are in the direction that you need to be going in. So ego is extremely loud. So what happens is ego is Mr. Negative. So he's the one that will tell you that you can't do things, that you don't have that, you don't have enough skills, you don't have enough abilities, this person isn't going to like you, you're not going to get that job. That is ego. But source is very soft spoken. Source, the delivery is very different. Ego is abrupt and almost rude, and source is very gentle. Source is your very gentle, polite aunt, and ego is the very negative, aggressive cousin that you can't stand having dinners with. So the two of them are related and both have a job. Just obviously the source base is the one where we actually accomplish things that we want to. So I can go a little bit more, but there is a connection with source and with our internal compass. So did that help a little bit answer about how to tap in?
Yes. So here's a story that I just recently had in that happened to me, and I want you to tell me what the difference is here. Okay.
Okay.
So a while ago, it was a Saturday, and my kids had to be dropped off to my sister-in-law's place for them to enjoy a sleepover. What ended up happening was we had some swimming classes to go to, and in that midst of time, I was looking at my eyebrows, and I looked at my hair, and I was like, "Oh my God, I need to get my eyebrows done." But I knew that I'm rushing things because I needed to get my kids at my sister-in-law's place at a certain time. And I also wanted to get my eyebrows. I could have done it the next day or not, but I wanted everything done at the same time. And in my heart, there was something that was telling me saying, Nish, don't rush it today. You can get it done tomorrow. Let's just let it go. Let's just go for the swimming classes. Let's get back home, relax, take them to your sister-in-law's place so you have other things to get done. Then another side of me is like, well, I'm almost there anyways. Why am I not just going? Do you know what I mean? So there's a part of me saying, just go get it done and over with so you don't have to worry. And then another part was saying, just take it easy. You may not be able to make it fully and just go and get the things done. It's not a big deal today. So I ended up taking them to swimming. And then after swimming, I'm like, nope, I'm just going to go get it done. Just going to go finish it off. And I took them. There was honestly so much traffic. And here I'm looking at the time, and I'm rushing, and I'm getting to my eyebrows place, and I get my eyebrows done, and then I get them some food, and then I come out, not realizing that there's something going on. In the midst of me driving back home, I get a ticket because I held my phone in my hands. Not only that, apparently my front of my car had tinted windows for many, many years, but apparently now they found out recently, and I got a ticket for that too. So like little things that just happened to me when I could have basically listened and said, Nish, don't rush it. You know, you're taking your time, just go take the kids to swimming, bring them home, take them to the sisters-in-law's place. Tomorrow you have all this time, you can do it. But I never thought of it. I wanted it done, and I wanted to rush it. And I just went and I did it. And in that midst of time, I didn't listen. And I think this is the reason why all this happened to me, because I didn't listen. So is that ego versus, is that what you're talking about when it comes to ego versus your inner GPS guidance?
Yes. Okay. That's a really good question. So, and first of all, I'm so sorry that happened to you.
Yes.
That's quite the brutal day. Hopefully you had a relaxing night when you got home, though.
Oh, it was, but you know what? I knew it was my fault because I rushed it. I knew when I was driving by, I'm like, see, I didn't listen. Why did I not listen to that guidance that told me to do it tomorrow? What was the rush of me doing it right now? And it's knowing that I didn't listen. But I sometimes, that inner thought tells you something, and it's just like, you want to go above and beyond to do something else. You don't want to listen to it.
Exactly. No, I totally get it. And I've had days like that too. And correct me if I'm wrong. And for those that are listening, so what happens, like, let's say if you had a flat tire, right? And then you're cursing, you're not cursing, but you're so upset that your flat tire has happened. You have a cup of coffee, and you're standing and you're looking at your car, and you go to take a sip as you're calling the person to come and tow or fix your car. And as you do that, you spill coffee all over yourself. So now you have two things, right? So then let's say you get to the shop and you realize you left your wallet at home. So now you don't even have ways to pay for your car to get fixed. So what happens is it actually is a domino effect.
Yeah.
And I have done that. So for those that are listening, just so you guys know, it is not all unicorns and rainbows for me either. But now what I have is what I didn't have years ago is more self-awareness, more awareness of how these things are connected. So when you have a flat tire, and trust me, I had that happen recently, it's really, really important to really watch where your thoughts go right at that point. Because what happens is it's literally like dominoes. So when we get frustrated, when we get angry, when we're at a lower vibration, it actually attracts more of that, because the universe only works on what we're sending out to it. So, I mean, the universe works, but it actually reflects back what we're sending out to the universe. So if we don't like the response we're getting, we have to change what we're sending out. So it's literally like sending an email. So if you're sending out an email in all capital letters, and for those that don't know, capital letters means that you're yelling at a person, a land of emails and messages. So if you are having everything in capital letters and then you get a really angry response back, well, then maybe you might want to change how you type that email. So when you change what you send out, you will actually change the response you receive back. So, so a couple of things I thought of, Nish, with what you were bringing up. So every single person, not one person on this planet, myself included, we're not perfect. No. So we have to allow ourselves and give ourselves patience and allow ourselves that room to grow and to experience, because that is all part of why we're here, is for all of us to have our individual journeys and to learn. So if we're not learning, we're not living. So we need to really give ourselves that patience. So I was thinking also while you were talking, Nish, so the connection, because it can be a little bit confusing. There's so many different factors. And honestly, I could talk to you guys for 5 hours about it, but I won't do that. I want everybody to enjoy their day. But so let's just say the internal navigation system, so the internal compass is like a modem. So I would say 99% of the world is usually dealing with internet, right? So there is a modem. That modem is your internal compass. And then I always get it messed up, but you know, the cable, the cord, the Ethernet cable.
Yeah.
So that is your connection to source. So what happens is your internal compass is what keeps everything afloat. So your internal compass is actually what's directing everything. Your Ethernet cable is your connection to source. So it actually is communicating constantly to your modem. So you have, with this internal compass, you already have the answers, but your source, your Ethernet cable, is constantly communicating with you about what you are thinking and feeling and doing, etc. And you don't have to be psychic or medium like myself to have this connection. Every single person actually has this connection, but a lot of people don't realize they have their Ethernet cable disconnected. It's actually not even plugged into the hole into their internal compass. So once you learn how to plug it back in, you're going to start seeing that life is a lot easier. It doesn't mean it's unicorns and rainbows, but it's going to be a lot easier. So even when we have these challenges, it's a lot easier to handle. It's a quicker recovery time because you have that connection to source, and it is going to help you. So also with the internal compass, we can actually break it in. What you were talking about, Nish, it made me think of this. We can actually break it into 4 elements. So air, water, fire, and earth. So with the internal compass, it actually helps us in our daily life. So for example, physical. So with physical, so that is earth. So that is actual a grounding. So grounding is actually one of the answers to your original questions, Nish. So it is so important to, that's why I said the 10 minutes a day. It doesn't mean you have to go back in the 60s, and it doesn't mean you have to, look like a hippie in order to have a grounding practice. Every single, this is my belief, every single person is an individual. Every single person will know what is the best practice and the best form of practice for themselves. So some people actually like to go into the shower and practice grounding that way, where you actually talk either verbally or mentally about releasing all negative thoughts, all negative events, and have it wash down the drain. Some people like connecting with the trees in the forest, or connecting with the lake. Whatever it is, listen to it, because that is part of you turning into your modem. So your modem is yours and yours alone. So nobody can tell you, my personal opinion, nobody can tell you how you need to work your modem. So find whatever works for you. So with water, so water symbolizing emotions. Every single person, no matter who they are, has emotions. Yeah. Allow yourself to feel the emotions. When we don't tap into our emotions, when we suppress our emotions, that's when a lot of things will erupt. Our volcano will erupt. So really take care of that. Is it okay if I continue about the compass?
I love it. Okay. Yes.
Okay, awesome. So now with mental, so I talked about physical, so I talked about earth, I talked about water. Mental is a huge part of your internal compass. So that's actually what you were talking about with your day. So that is with thoughts, that's with communication. So the 10 minutes a day actually allows you to focus on this part of your compass and basically tune out what I call the mental noise and distractions, and tune in to your personal modem, and actually learning to recognize what is your thoughts and what is not your thoughts. Because not to scare those that are listening right now, but we actually have a connection with source. And what happens is the more we tune into our personal modem, we will actually start learning to recognize when it is not our voice, because it will actually sound different than our own thoughts. When you first start learning to connect with your stranger, your personal modem here, when you first start, you will hear just your voice. You will hear just your thoughts, and they might be quite erratic. They might be all over the place. But as you take and you're diligent and you focus daily on a daily practice, you will start quieting your mind, and you will be able to actually have your Ethernet cable connect to your modem, and you will start actually hearing and receiving the downloads from source as they are actually accessing your modem, and they are helping guiding you on your path. So they are actually with you, whether you're tapped in or not right now into your personal modem, they are actually already with you. And as I said, you don't have to be highly intuitive, a psychic, or medium to access that. Every single person has that ability. It's just a matter of taking the daily practice to train your mind and yourself, and dedicate that time for your personal well-being and your personal growth.
I'm at wow. Oh my God. I can just sit here and meditate with you all day long. Like I could just close my eyes right now and listen to you talk, and I'm trying to figure out this modem and this internet, and I'm like, I think I have it. I honestly do. I think I have it. There's days where, I will walk around and I can feel energy from other people or other sources. And I know that there's something wrong, or there's something not going right, or it's just not a good match. And so I'll walk the other way, and I'm like, I can't handle this. And I'll walk the other way just so that I feel better. Someone walking into my house, I can feel the energy of that person. Either it's not a very good energy, either it's a judgmental energy, either it's some kind of an energy that I'm not okay with, because I will close up. Yes. My whole thing will close up. I'm not feeling comfortable. I'm feeling like as if I'm being forced to do something. And I've never felt stuff like this. I am learning these energies that are coming towards me and I feel them. And then the moment they walk out of the house, it's like, oh my God, I feel open again. I feel back to me. I feel back to myself. Is it me? And then I have to question myself. Is it me? Am I the problem? Am I the issue? Am I judgmental? Am I the one that's doing something wrong? And then, I got to sit down and really, really focus on those questions about it. Is it me or was it the other person? And so I'm just like, wow, like all these little things that are coming in towards me. I'm just like, I'm taking it one piece at a time. I'm trying to understand it. And recently I've been doing a lot more meditation just to kind of get more guidance, like you said, getting more guidance from the source. And I don't think I've been so I'm still learning. I think it's an everyday learning thing. It's not perfect, but I'm feeling amazing every single day. And every single day I'm getting different emotions coming in. Like you said, the water, that emotions, like different emotions. Some of them are not very good emotions. I don't know if there's something wrong. And then there's some emotions that are so beautiful. So I'm all over the place and I'm still learning, and everyone else like that are there. It's such a beautiful journey to be in. It is so beautiful. And it's so like, I don't know how to explain it to you. Like, I wish I could explain every little bit of it. Until I learn that part of it, I'll be able to explain it at that time. But
Well, you
yes, thank you so much for bringing that in and talking to us a little bit about that, because that is so, so important. Can you give us some tips and tricks of anyone that's trying to, find that inner guidance, to find that intuition, finding that ethernet to connect it? Like, what are some tips that you can give someone to start looking at doing that?
Okay, perfect. Definitely will give you some tips. And just to go back to what you just shared, so Nish, as you already know, I'm sure you already know. So what you just described is like word for word. If it was in a dictionary, is an empath. So being empathic is, in my personal opinion, anything I share, just so those that are listening, is my personal opinion. So in the past year, is that people that weren't highly intuitive before, people that weren't really in touch with their internal selves, a lot of people have actually learned to actually reach within and actually tune into themselves. And what you're describing about being highly empathic, you can actually, just a tip, and I will share tips about your internal compass in a sec, is before you leave the house or even before you have somebody come over. So every single person, every single object actually vibrates. Every single thing, every single person has energy, whether they realize it or not. So even the laptop in front of me right now is vibrating. It actually has energy to it. Even though it's in off, it's not even on. Every single thing has energy to it. So empaths like yourself are highly, and I'm also an empath, so highly sensitive. And it's not a negative, it's not a fault, it's not a bad thing. So for those that are listening right now, if somebody told you you're an empath or you're highly emotional, you're highly sensitive, you're too emotional, just toss that aside and actually embrace who you are. It is not a weakness, it is actually a strength. So people that are highly sensitive and highly emotional are very aware of their surroundings, very aware of people. It's a beautiful gift. When you eat, but like any other gift, you have to take care of it. You have to take care of yourself. And because you're dealing with energy, your energy will be drained. So before you leave the house, before you have somebody come over, visualize a white bubble or a white light around you, either mentally or verbally. Ask for protection. And for those that are spiritual and like-minded like myself, you can actually ask for your team, guidance / spiritual team, to come forward and assist you in your daily life and assist you with protecting your energy. So you can definitely ask them to help with that. And that is a daily practice that I do because, like, for example, just going to a grocery store is not exactly the most positive experience. So there is definitely in the last year, there has been an increase in negative energy and negative vibration and emotions. So anger, fear is actually a low vibration. So it is really important for everybody, my personal opinion, to take care of themselves energetically because we all deserve the best in life. And it is so important that we don't let other people impact our journey in a negative way. So in regards to daily tips and practices for your internal compass, so journaling, and I'm not talking like Dear Diary,
Yeah.
but actually when you have 10 minutes, just wherever you are, some people don't want to do it in their house. They want to actually take it outside, be around the trees in their backyard, whatever feels right for you. So, but journaling, I highly recommend because what happens is you do your daily quiet time, as I call it, because for me personally, I couldn't wrap my head around the word meditation. So just daily write down in your journal. What starts happening is you will write down different thoughts, different feelings, whatever comes to you. And the more that you do it, the more you'll actually have your Ethernet cable connected, it tapped into your modem, and you'll actually start receiving downloads from your source. Ego is going to start getting quiet. He's actually going to turn into a very shy wallflower. So you're hardly going to hear from him. And your source is actually not going to be loud. The delivery is beautiful because it comes from a place of love. The delivery is to help assist you and guide you on your journey. They will never force you. They will never make demands on you, but it'll be very, very gentle. And as you start writing things down in your journal, you'll start receiving little thoughts that you realize are not even your own. More often than not, you're going to hear it in your own voice. Most people I talk to, they hear it in their own voice, but they realize that it's not them talking. And that's where it can get very confusing. But the more that you focus on it on a daily practice, you will start being able to decipher what is your thoughts and what is actually your Ethernet cable and your source connection communicating with your modem. So you will start figuring it out. So the daily quiet is so important. And for those that have very busy lives, young children, whatever works best for you, just make sure you have that daily time, and it doesn't have to be the same time every day. Just 10 minutes makes a huge difference. So that's one thing I recommend. Also, I recommend, so one thing that I personally experienced, and it literally transformed my life and transformed myself, is actually sound therapy. So even for those that have pets, just an FYI, fun fact, pets actually thrive also with sound therapy, and so do children. So if you have Spotify, there's many different channels on there that actually offer sound therapy targeted towards specific aspects of your life. This will actually help your internal compass, because your internal compass is basically broken into 5 parts. So the main part is actually love. So love actually is literally like the Beatles sang not too long ago. Love actually makes the world go round. It really does. It actually is what directs our internal compass. So when we feel good, when we're coming from a place of joy, happiness, when we do things that make us happy, it increases our vibration. It actually increases energetically the people around us. So if you have family, if you have a partner, even if you live by yourself, fun fact, even if you live by yourself, and I can speak from experience on this, when you focus on your energy and increasing your energy and taking care of yourself, you actually change the energy in your home. So if you're a plant person and you have plants, those plants are going to hug you and thank you so much for making it a positive environment, because they thrive energetically as well. So because they sense it too. So focus on 10 minutes a day, taking that time, journaling, tapping into your internal modem, your GPS. As I said, it's actually broken into 5 parts. Love is the main, earth, air, I was going to say wind, air, fire. I'm thinking the group, that's hilarious. Air, fire, earth, and water. So water is in regards to your emotions. Earth is in regards to grounding, getting into touch into a physical space. So somewhere outside really helps. Air is your mental with communication. And then we have fire, which is spiritual. So your connection with your Ethernet cable, your connection to source. So those are the 5. And we focus on that daily, and you're going to start hearing the difference in the voice and the communication.
That's beautiful. I love those tips and tricks. I was just reading something a while ago, and I thought, okay, let me read them to you, and you tell me what you think. There was one: in order to understand your internal guidance or your intuition, is notice when and where you feel your inner wisdom. Right?
Yes.
Notice when you feel a pull or have a hunch or instinct about something.
Exactly. You got it.
When you have that sense and your mind tries to override it, like I did.
You got it. You got it. Exactly. And that's the thing too. So with the wheel, so when you work on all 5 aspects of your wheel, so what happens is every single person has this system, and you can literally have every single question of yours answered by your own GPS, by your own internal GPS. So what happens is you mentally start practicing on daily, asking yourself, like, for example, my name is Jennifer. So I say, is my name Jennifer? If I hear yes, then I know that I am tapped into my internal modem. But if I hear no, then I know not only is my Ethernet cable not connected to my modem, but I've got a faulty modem, and I need to work on this modem because it's not connecting, right?
That's right. Yeah. And
So,
the more you hear that, yes, that the trueness of yourself, the more you can connect to more questions, and you'll get the right answers, right? Like that's what. It's so funny. I think I had this when I was a child. I would ask a question, and I would think of this person, our spiritual leader or whoever it was, and I would think of them, and I would ask them a question, and I would have him nod his head yes or no, and every time I had a question, he would give me the answers by nodding his head. If I just had closed my eyes, I would know if it's a yes or a no. And for some odd reason, it would always be true. So it's funny how you said that, because I think I used to do it when I was a child, but unintentionally.
yes. And
That's,
you sorry, Nish, go ahead.
no, I was just so amazed of that answer. Now that I think about it, I can't even believe I remember that. I was like, oh my God, I used to do it when I was a child. Like,
Yes. And what you said is bang on. So for everybody that's listening to, so children are so tapped into not only physical technology in 2021, like holy moly, like they can
right?
access technology so fast and they can
Yeah.
figure it out. But mentally, internally, they are so tapped into their personal modem is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I give so much credit to children, because they literally, if we took the time to just stop and listen and pay attention, we can learn so much from children. We really could. So as a child, a child will tap into their internal GPS, and they will ask themselves a question, and they will hear their answer immediately. As an adult, we learn to not only disconnect our Ethernet cable more often than not, but we don't even realize we have a modem. We have a built-in modem, and we forget that. So that's why we have to remind ourselves of how truly powerful we are, and we don't give ourselves enough credit. And I just thought, Nish, when you were saying about a child, I received a download. Speaking of Ethernet cable, so for those that are listening, if you remember those magic balls, those black, that magic ball, and you would shake it and it would have a little answer. It was a plastic
Yes
toy.
or no answer. Yes, you would ask the question, and then you would have to take it and give you an answer. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So when we first start tapping into our internal GPS and our our Ethernet cable, we're shaking that ball, and we can ask very simple questions like, "This is the sky blue today?" Right? And we're shaking the ball, and we get a yes or no. As we progress with our personal training and development with our internal GPS, you can actually shake that ball and start asking more in-depth questions like, is there something I need to know about my relationship? How can I develop my relationship? And you're not going to get yes and no answers. You're actually going to get full on, in depth, real answers that are going to help you in your life. So, also with your internal GPS, it's just like your GPS in your car. It's going to help you on your journey. So, for those that used to play the game Hot and Cold, for those that are listening right now. So if a child plays this game and the child walks towards something that is the object that the other child had picked, they'll say hot. But if that child walks away, they'll say cold. Well, guess what? Your internal GPS is the same way. So when you start feeling joy, when you start walking towards what brings you joy, whether in life, in all aspects of life, whether at work or at home, in your hobbies, etc., you will start feeling excitement, you'll start feeling happiness, and that actually increases your vibration and actually like magnetically attracts actually more good situations, people, things start clicking into place. Like it's literally like you're holding a magic ball, because the fact is you are. So just,
That's beautiful. I love it. I'm so happy that you came. I'm so happy you talked about all of the stuff. This is so much information, so wonderful, so beautiful. It really taps into my soul when I talk about this with you. And I don't know, but I know, actually, I do know my day is going to go so well now because I've just talked about something that is truly so beautiful inside of me. Now, everything that I love about you is this, right? Is this beautiful talk. I can sit there and talk to you about everything and anything when it comes to this topic. It's perfect. I just want to say there are going to be so many people there that will be listening to this and be like, oh my God, I need more questions. I need more answers. I need more information. So Jen, please let us know how they can get a hold of you if they needed any of this information.
Oh, for sure. Well, thank you so much, Nish, for having me on. And thank you so much, everybody, for listening. So if you want to reach out to me personally, you can send me an email at info@jenniferdawn.net. And I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. So I actually have a personal group on Facebook called Essence and Echoes. So, and you can also find me on Instagram under Essence and Echoes. So.
Oh, perfect. I should be following every single one of them. I do know I am following you, right?
Yes, you are. And then thank you.
And every time I do know that you always have some fun topics come up every time. So you're always posting something. So that's amazing. I will post all of that information into my description. So it's there so everyone can see it. And if they want, they could just, it'll be a one click and they'll get right to you. So that's perfect. Thank you again for being here. Thank you for talking about the most beautiful topic ever as our internal compass, our GPS that leads us to us. So thank you for being here. Thanks for everyone that's listening. Whoever does want to get a hold of Jen, please do. She's amazing. She has so much to offer. And I guarantee you will never be unsatisfied with her services. So have a fabulous day, everyone. And thank you again for listening. And please do not forget to subscribe. Have a great day.
Thank you.